is it a concern about Gyokeres at the moment? Like, because I look at that game yesterday, I think if he was still out there now, he wouldn't have scored. He never looked like scoring.
The thing is, he don't look fit to me, Lee. And on top of that, he don't look confident either. He desperately needs a goal, but I'm not going to turn on him.
Do you reckon that's because of confidence he's not looking fit? Because I felt like the game against Burnley, he looked sharp that day.
And then what happened?
And then he gets injured now. So, you know, listen, he's a big lad as well. He's not like, you know, so maybe it's going to take him 2 or 3 games to get out. But
if you're on a long list of Arsenal forwards in their first season at Arsenal have not done that well. And in the second season,
they've flourished.
Yeah, so I'm not. You know what I mean? Give it. We got to get a bit. No good booing the guys. I know.
No.
I'll pray.
No. Chris, I think every Arsenal fan is wanting him to do well. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I think we've all wanted this. I think as a fans, we've wanted the centre forward for 2-3 years now. A proper centre forward, like, and he is different to what we've got. Like, you know what I mean? As you know, all like Havertz and Mourinho, you can say are similar, Jesus and whatever. He's completely different to what we've got. We want it to work,
100%.
But I think if he doesn't score on Wednesday, you've got like Everton. When are we going to be saying, right, it's now a big concern?
The thing is if Havertz suddenly appears, that's also
this is it. And then let's say Jesus plays 20 minutes against Wolves, and he gets a goal or 2, and then obviously you're like you said, you're in some games against better opposition. The logical explanation, you know, let's say Jesus is now coming back to full fitness, he's scoring, and then you've got Mourinho. Listen, Mourinho does a job. You've got to think of who is best for the team. And whatever anyone says, when you put Mourinho in that position, he comes up with the goods time and time again.
He scored 20 goals in a calendar year,
which is a good return.
That's unreal.
And at the moment, and this is what I saw last night. And listen, I'm not writing Gyokeres off. I'm not slandering him. I'm not, you know, I'd never boo him. So I've got to be careful how I say it. All I'm saying is it's concerning. And at the moment, for him, would he score 20 calendar goals? This is it. And we need, what you have got to say is if we had a guy that was going to score us 30 goals in a season, mate, we'd canter this league.
I will say something about Gyokeres. I'll put this here, right? That he's coming against Villa and he's coming on Wednesday night. All 3 wide players have scored goals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, is it that? Trossard scored at the weekend.
Good point, that.
Noni scored. Martinelli scored. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
And when he went off last night, Bruce come on to us, didn't they?
Yeah. So is it a little bit of, you know, he not gets the credit that he, because everybody looks at it and goes, oh, you've got to score goals.
Yeah.
I do think he occupies players. I'm not saying that that's what he's in the team for.
Definitely he does, but there were some positions on the pitch. For example, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not saying I'm any expert, the goal that Noni scores at that back post, it was kind of like Gyokeres was standing there for me. I'd want my centre forward there, smashing that in the net. Also against Villa, there was I think it might have been Noni again at the right, but there was a ball that got flashed across. Now, there you go. Gyokeres is probably 10 yards away from it, or 5 yards. If you make your run as a centre forward and you go for that ball, you get on the end of it, you stick it in the back of the net. That's predetermining the ball that's coming in and having that understanding with your team and knowing that ball is coming in. And
take that point on board, right? Noni's at the far post, unmarked. Why is he unmarked?
Maybe because he's occupied guys. I do get that.
Why is Noni on the end of the one at Villa with no one around him? Because he's occupying players.
I do get that.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, like, you know, I think what for me, the perfect scenario is he gets a couple of goals at least on
but the thing is, what happens when Havertz is back?
Listen, we all know that the manager loves Havertz. I'm a big fan of Havertz as a footballer.
I love him as well.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's it.
I'm a big fan of him as a footballer. As a goal scorer, I don't think he is. But at the end of the day, the trouble you've got at the moment with Gyokeres is you're saying the same thing about him, like, you know what I mean? Like what I was just saying, Havertz does that without scoring, like, you know what I mean? Are we a better team when Havertz plays in it?
But the thing with Havertz for me is Havertz from what I've seen, and obviously he gets in those goal-scoring positions. The problem we've had with Havertz is finishing his dinner, sticking the ball in the back of the net, that clinicality, and literally just rifling that ball home. Now, he gets in the positions, he's a handful, he gets up with the headers, the elbows, everything, he's all around the pitch, he's an absolute nuisance. So he does all of that stuff that Gyokeres is doing. He just sometimes doesn't stick the ball in the back of the net.
Being fair to Gyokeres, compare his performances with Isaac at Liverpool.
There is this.
He's trying to fit his way into the team, like, you know, but playing a different system.
We could have bought Sesko. He ain't done much better, has he? So it's a bit weird, isn't it? All these strikers.
The trouble with those strikers, like an Isaac and even a Jockz, they're playing for teams where it's all about them, built around them.
Yeah.
With a team like Arsenal and Liverpool as well, it's about
the team,
the whole thing. So there's a little bit of like a difference. I think that can definitely hinder him a little bit, like, you know.
But let's talk about it, Dan. We were speaking off camera, and me and you were saying that we capped hard, didn't we, for Gyokeres in the summer when Sesko's name was mentioned. Both of us would shout that down, say, no, Gyokeres is our man. The stats kind of proved that. But how would you say he's been so far?
Disappointing. In fact, disappointing is probably a little bit of an understatement, if I'm honest. I thought his best game for Arsenal in an Arsenal shirt was against Burnley, and unfortunately he came off injured. I've got no problem with him scoring against Leeds and Burnley and Forest. That doesn't bother me. I don't care who you score against. But I need to see him score, and I'm not seeing him score enough. And I appreciate that some of the kind of Gyokeres lovers or the people that want to give him time are being more kind of lenient in towards his performances. He holds up the ball well, he does a lot off the ball. So do the other players we've got. I brought him to score, not to do what Havertz does. He needs to be an upgrade on those players, and I'm not sure that he is at the moment. It doesn't mean he's not going to be. It doesn't mean he's going to be a flop. And I look at some of the other opportunities to sign strikers at the moment, none of them are doing great. Let's be real. I would say there's probably only Ekitike that's done quite well out of the players that have come in. I don't think Isak's found his feet at Liverpool.
I don't think Voltemada's been all right.
Voltemada's been very good, actually. I'll go with him as well as Ekitike. But when you look at what Isak's done, what Sesko's done, what Gyokeres has done, it's kind of been a little bit questionable. So I like some of the stuff that he does. I'm not going to say I don't. And as a footballer, I like some of the stuff that he does. But we didn't bring him in to be a bully boy and hold up the ball. That should have come as well as the goals, not instead of. And that's my biggest problem with Gyokeres right now. And I think the kind of damning indictment really was Jesus coming on and making him look a bit silly. Oh, he doesn't get any service. We're not really making it easy for him. We're not giving him enough chances. Jesus didn't really get many chances, but he created his own chances. Yeah. They didn't put on a plate for him. I didn't see Odegaard threading blue the boy. He looks sharp. So when Jesus is outperforming you, Marino's outscoring you, and everyone's saying we need Kai Havertz, it's not looking good for Viktor Gyokeres. So I don't want to give up on him, but at the same time, he does need to show me more.
I mean, Matt, I'll come to you in a minute. What I would say on Gyokeres, to be fair to him, he was injured, and when he came on for that half against Villa, I thought that's a difficult assignment, really, coming up against Villa at home. His first game out for a few weeks, but against Bruges, got to say I was a bit disappointed, and so we need to see more. Let's hope that this weekend, Matt, he can do that.
Yeah, there's no beating around the bush. It's not looking as good as we thought it would with Gyokeres. We all know that. I think more importantly, he probably knows that. But I think this is where, at this point in the season, if we want to win things and we want this club to be connected, this is where us fans need to step up and have those conversations, in private and stuff. But when we've got a platform like this, and you've obviously all worked very hard to build a platform like this, players see this, people talk. This is where we've got to back him, be together, because we all want him to do well.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not like I think it's fair to say that it hasn't gone how it was planned so far. But obviously there's a player in there, had 97 goals he scored last year. So I think, Saturday we all need to be bigging him up, make sure he gets that goal and just stick with him, because, he's plays for this football club, and while he's here, he needs our support.
We've seen glimpses so far, but we need to see more. As Dan was saying, we need to see more, and we need to see some goals.
Yeah.
It's all right running around, putting a shift in, but we need to see goals, because let's be honest, we brought him in as a finisher, didn't we? We was all saying that all we need is a number 9 up top we get a good number 9 and kind of rest kind of takes care of itself. At the moment, we're not quite seeing that, but like I said, still early days, still relatively early in the season. So
the one question I will ask though is you often hear like we're not playing to his strengths, but then that makes me question why did we sign him if we didn't plan on playing to his strengths? That's what I can't quite understand.
I think as well, like you say about that, I think a lot of people will look at last night's performance as well and say the reason we scored those goals and we had that space for Martinelli and for Madueke is because of what Gyokeres is doing, occupying that space and allowing people to get onto him. So there is that question mark. And I do think that he does bring other players into play. I don't question that. I don't know that we bought him for that. I feel like we bought him to be the goal machine, to be the gunman, the killer in the box, and we haven't seen that yet.
No. I mean, just to set the record straight, no one's questioning his attitude, his work rate, his commitment. All we're saying is that we thought we might have seen a bit more in terms of goals. We're not quite seeing it yet, but we're hopeful.